just gonna do it. We're just gonna do it live. Just gonna do it. Oh my god. Yeah, okay. That's
Okay.
fine.
Oh my
It's
God,
whatever.
PepPep. Oh,
We may have
sorry,
had
we're
some technical
starting a little
difficulties.
late. PepPep's being a stubborn old man, and his trauma
I
is coming
am.
out today. And Nana ain't having any of his
Mm-mm.
shit, and so
No,
you
she's
should know.
not.
So this should be fun. This should
Oh
be fun,
yeah.
folks. Hello and
This is gonna
welcome
be
to
great.
it. This is gonna be great.
'Cause
Welcome to Waking Up with Nana and PepPep. I am a Roogs, and we're coming out of the gate hot. So fuck the hot seat. It's cool.
yeah.
And with me is my co-host and best friend. It is Sean. And today he is testing my friendship. He is over here testing my patience. So it's fine. It's cool. It's cool.
It's
You're like,
only
yeah, I love you. It's
yeah.
so cool. All right.
Aw.
All right, here is our motherfucking disclaimer because God knows it's all right. It's fine. It's fine. All right.
Mhm. Put it out there.
It's fine. Hold on. I gotta
Is it
get that.
fine?
Yes. Here on Waking Up with Nana and PepPep, we are not here to put down anybody's religious belief or faith. We think that faith and religion are beautiful things when done in a mentally and emotionally healthy manner. We are not licensed professional. Everything that is said on this podcast is for entertainment purposes only. I am learning how to say that in the correct way. That's fine. Anything. We are two trauma triscuits. We are just two people on the internet that talk about our trauma in the church. Also, just talk about our trauma in general. Is sort of where this is, and just sort of how we are deconstructing all of everything that we believe about ourselves, about faith, about life,
Everything.
and
Hmm.
reconstructing ourselves as decent human beings. And decent is about as close as I want to get right now. But if you do need professional help, we certainly have the resources, and we can get you in touch with people. We can get you some resources where you can get help from a professional. That is certainly, please do not hesitate to reach out to us and at Nerd Mom Ace on all the social medias. Yeah, it's no longer Nerd Mom Ace 1. The only Nerd Mom
Woo!
Ace 1 I have is on Twitter, and I don't check that very often. So, but
You mean
Insta,
X?
X, whatever. But on Insta and TikTok and YouTube, all of that is now at Nerd Mom Ace. I don't have to add the one anymore, so that's
Heck
great.
yeah.
All right, awesome. So brand is solidified.
Yeah.
So reach out to us there. We also do have a Discord channel, which Peppa's going to put in there because we still have not fixed my match.
We are fixing your touch portal. You know you have the day, you have the
We
day
can
off
fix it. It's
tomorrow.
Labor Day weekend. Yeah, so we can fix it.
Right,
We can fix it this
exactly.
week.
All right, so we're putting the Discord in there.
Yes, we're putting the Discord in there.
Yeah, there it is. There it is. Push the button. I do the producer thing.
So Sean and I grew up in the Southern Baptist Church in the Carolinas, which is is a very evangelical, conservative
Mm-hmm.
Protestant sect of faith. And it certainly did a number on us. So,
They did.
but yeah, that is what we are doing, and that is who we are. And all right, PepPep, what are we doing this week?
Oh yeah. So last week was PepPep story time. You got to see all the trauma on display for my for my young adult life, my childhood. So today we're gonna flip the script a little bit and we're gonna have Nana story time.
Yeah, are you sure about that?
I and you, the community, get to ask Nana questions. Get to ask Arug some thought-provoking questions and
No,
see
see, and
what
here's the
comes
thing:
up.
no one will ask questions. No one will ask questions. No one.
See, are you saying that to psych them out so they don't?
I feel like nobody in our community will ask questions. I really don't. I feel it'll be all you.
I think the hardest thing about asking you questions isn't. I think the hardest part about that is asking a question that is something you haven't answered, you haven't talked about before, because you are so open and
Yes, but I
you
haven't
have.
talked about everything. That's not.
I know. Well, but people don't know what everything else entails. So I think that is the part of that kind
I
of
am
hardest
sure that
questions.
there's something I haven't talked about that.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
Mm-hmm.
oh god. Okay.
There's a few things.
Okay.
Okay. So if you have community, if you have a question for
Okay.
Arux, feel
Okay.
free
I'm
to
gonna
put it in the
need you to
chat.
adjust your mic so that your mic is closer and not at the
That better?
top. See, he just got a new mic, so we're
I did. Look, it's yeah. I'm not used to this. I'm used to having the whole the
right by
thing.
his face, right? So he's over here trying to talk at the top of the mic, and I'm like, Pep, that's not how these mics work. These work the side, the side, and so right now it's like point.
Right here. Is
Yes,
that good?
actually, yes. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, I kind of this arm that this is on came in about 30 minutes ago, so I just kind of like slapped it. It's not even on my desk. It's on a little planter that's sitting next to my desk.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Story time. So, questions. You look a little
I
anxious.
think that all you're gonna ask me because I don't know. I feel like Pep is like, oh, what's your favorite color? What's your
You think
favorite?
I'm gonna play softball?
I
All
think you're
right. All
gonna play
right.
softball. I really, really do.
You know what? Where'd you get what is your favorite color?
Purple.
Why?
Why?
Yeah.
I well, I don't. When I actually in I didn't really have purple wasn't really my favorite. I didn't have a favorite color until
Mm-hmm.
I was in college, and my freshman year I took a communications class, which was a requirement for everybody at Western. You had to take a communications class, and that
Yep.
was like public speaking, free like speech and stuff like that. And so I did, which honestly I didn't realize how much this would benefit me like for the next 20 something years,
Right.
but I did my speech because we had to pick a topic and then do an entire presentation on it, an informational presentation, and I did mine
Mm-hmm.
on color theory. And like I did mine on color theory, how that affects your psyche, how that affects your emotions, how people use color to affect moods, affect environments, or just and how that does. And so over time, like over doing that research, I just really like what is my favorite color. I really did think about that, and I ended up with purple. That was just one of those like, what is the color that brings me the most happiness, that makes me feel good, that I really, that I, and so purple. I realized that a lot of my stuff was purple, that it just happened to be that way. I didn't consciously choose that. And so, yeah,
Okay.
purple is my favorite color because I took a class in college on color. Well, I took a communications class and I did a presentation on color theory. So, of course, it's very intellectual on how I chose my.
Yeah. Yeah. Why'd you pick purple? Because it's pretty. No, it's not. With the roots, it's not that simple. No,
No.
it is not at all. So, all right.
Yeah, yeah.
Next,
Oh shit.
what are you most proud of about yourself?
Now you
See,
are.
that was like the 1-2 punch. That was like a little jab.
God damn it! You're making me think that's about myself. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Someone's got to.
Oh, the most proud of?
Most proud. Pick top one.
Purple is boss. Purple is boss.
Purple is a fantastic color.
Um, the most proud of.
Mm-hmm.
This one's hard. Okay, I have two that come to mind. I have two.
Okay.
Okay. The first one is I am most proud of where I'm at in my design stuff. It is something that I've always enjoyed doing, and I don't have any like formal like college like school training, and a lot of what I do was courses online. I took some courses online, and I just sort of picked up and taught myself, and I ended up making a career out of it, making a living off of it, and I still do, and I enjoy it, and I was able to do something, and that was, and it's not easy, not it's not, And I was able to teach myself something that I loved very quickly and make a career out of it. And I'm really good and I enjoy it, and I'm proud that that is something that I was able to accomplish. It was a dream. It really was a long term dream. Like, if I think it was you and John both asked me in the pandemic, what if you like what are your dreams? What do you dream? Like what are your
Mm-hmm.
dreams? And that was on there. I really wanted to make graphic design and designing a career, and I ended up doing that. I accomplished something that I honestly didn't think that that was on the table or even a remote possibility, and it ended up, I mean, the company I work for, like, they took a chance on me, and it's paid
They
off for
did.
both of us. So
Yes, it has. You're right.
I I really thought that that was a distant dream. I really thought that that was something that would never happen. I really honestly, if you
Yeah.
would have asked me when I had said that, if that was going to be in the cards for me, I would have said, no, that's just, I mean, that's just a pipe dream. And it ended up happening, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
pretty proud of that. I am pretty happy with that. And the second one, of course, is my mental health journey. The things that I am able I have been able to do in the past 6 months, and in the place where I'm at, and the thing, like, just, it's not easy. It's not, but that it just the how strong I am, and how I'm able to fall down and make mistakes and be in dark places and still make it and still move forward. I think that that's huge, and I'm very proud of that.
Good.
It's not something that necessarily brings me happiness every day, but it is certainly something I'm proud of, because I can, when I'm in a dark place, I can recognize, okay, this is what this is, and this is what I need to do to regulate myself. This is when and the simple fact that I have those tools in my toolkit and I know how to use them, that's big too. So not your kids. My kids are their own people. And I want you to say, I want to say that it's not that I don't love my kids, and it's not that I am not proud of my children, because I am. They are amazing,
Mm-hmm.
amazing tiny humans. They're not tiny anymore. I got it like preteen on my
They've grown
hands.
up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Um, my kids are their own people, and they are not an object for me to be proud of. And they are not the thing I am most proud of, because they are the thing that I love the most. And they are their own people, and they do their own things, and I support them and I love them. And they know that I'm proud of them. But I, I, I approach my kids and raising my kids and how I see my children. Um, I approach it because they are not my they are not my prizes. They are not objects. They are not
Mm-hmm.
they are not something that I hang my hat on, or the laurels that, or if, like, my parenting, my parenting is a reflection of who they become, or any of that, because I think that
Mm-hmm.
that's the problem that I had with my parents growing up. Is it was We were a reflection on them. They are not a reflection on me. They are a reflection of themselves.
Yep.
And I treat them and see them as their own individuals, because they are two very different people with two very different personalities and thought processes and just everything. And so they are not something that I have done that I should, that, you know what I mean. It is not an
Mm-hmm.
accomplishment. They are their own people. They are things that they are people that I love. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Good answer.
Yeah. So I mean, and no,
Some some people do say that. I'm I I would agree with you. Right, before you answered, that's what I was thinking the same thing. I was like, having kids, being a parent is not the thing you're most proud of.
mm-mm.
My mother, um, I think my mother fits the other thing where you said, I think my mother bases her self worth upon how she about her parenting, and so when her kids do something that's not what she wants them to, she sees that as a failure on her part. I think that's the trap that can happen.
Oh, absolutely.
Uh,
And as a parent, it's like, oh, well, like and that's also, and I also, I do that as well, is because then if I view them that way, then that's taking away from their accomplishments. And
yeah,
that's taking
good
away
point.
from their lessons and their lives, and that's like taking ownership of everything about who they are. Now, as a parent, am I supposed to guide them? Am I supposed to raise them? Am I supposed to love them and nurture them? And yes,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely. And I do that, and I do the best I can, but I'm also human.
Mm-hmm.
But just because they are not my thing I'm most proudest of, they're not the
Mm-hmm.
accomplishment because they're their own humans. They're the thing I love the most in the world. Yes, they're the people I love the most in the world, and I would literally go to hell and back for them. But their accomplishments
Mm-hmm.
are their own. Their mistakes are their own, and I am only here to help guide them until they don't need me anymore. And that's the hard part about being a parent. Um, and I think also their accomplishments are their own, and their mistakes
Yeah.
are their own, and that they are their own people. And I work very hard to respect that and encourage whatever individuality they want to do, as long as it at oh, look at that, look how happy he is, he could just easily mute
I know. I
himself.
just touched it. I'm like, I'm not. I'm not. I had a burp. I was like, I'm not burping into the mic. Yep.
So yeah,
That was a good question though, because that is a very common.
yeah.
There are people that there are parents that do that, and some people believe that you shouldn't. Rooks believes the opposite.
Yeah. And it's very
So
societal. It's the
yeah.
societal acceptable answer. I
Mm-hmm.
think it's also a cop out. I think also it's like, oh, my kids are my greatest accomplishments. Well, then that is making your identity your kids. And my identity is not my
Mm-hmm.
kids. My identity is my own. And I am a
Mm-hmm.
mother. Just like, I'm not someone's wife. That is not my
Yeah.
identity.
Yep.
That is a role that I have chosen to play. I am not someone's
Mm-hmm.
girlfriend. I'm not so and so's friend. I am who I am. And that is a
Mm-hmm.
role that I have chosen to be in. And that's a role and because there's a lot of, I mean, I think of my relationship with my mother. My mother's not proud of me. I'm not my mother's greatest accomplishment.
Mm-hmm.
And that's okay. So that is making my children my identity, and then that's where you get a lot of the whole empty nest things where,
Yes.
oh, my
That
kids
makes
went away to
sense.
college, and or like in high school where like these parents that struggle with their kids doing their own thing. It's because that they've made their identity about being a mom and being, and if that's what you choose to do, again, it's like stay at home moms. I don't I was a stay at home mom for a year, and I understand how motherfucking hard that is. It's probably the hardest thing that I've ever done is be a stay at home mom. And if you think not,
Yep.
it is. Oh my god, it is. It is so difficult to be a stay
Yeah.
at home mom. And
Especially because you had two kids at one point.
I stayed at
What?
home when my oldest was 18 months, when I had my
Mm-hmm.
youngest, because my youngest was born and we couldn't afford two babies in daycare. I might as well have been
Yeah.
throwing away my paycheck. So
Yeah.
it, it,
Mm-hmm.
it came out as a wash. So I stayed at home with my infant and my toddler, and
Wow.
that was very
Ooh.
emotionally and mentally taxing, for
Yeah.
everyone, both me and C. Rugs, and it was a very dark period in my life. I was very
Yeah.
isolated, um, and so when I'm like, oh well, I just chose to work, and I would never stay at home. I would never stay at home because that is just, it was
Oh, you are.
not for me. It wasn't
Mm-hmm.
for me. If it was
Yeah.
for me, I could have made it work because that's what I do. But that is just not that wasn't for me. That was not what was
Yeah.
healthy or good for me. So
Okay.
I just chose not to. And that's okay.
Yeah. All right. We could probably riff on that topic for another episode or something because that's a. All right. Next year for next one.
Oh.
Would you rather people perceive you as being kind, intelligent, or attractive?
Would I rather? That's a look at you, Pep Pep. I'm proud of you. I
Uh-huh.
am proud of you. These questions are good. Okay.
Thanks.
Kind, intelligent, or attractive, and I only have to choose. I can only choose one.
No, I'll let you. I'll give you this. I'll let you rank them. Which is the most important that they perceive you as?
Kind,
To least important.
kind, and then intelligent, and then attractive.
Okay.
Intelligence is subjective.
Mm-hmm.
Intelligence. I'm really smart in a lot of areas, and I don't know a lot in others. And just because I don't know a lot about quantum mechanics doesn't mean I'm not intelligent.
Mm-hmm.
Attractiveness again is definitely it all depends on. I am very not attractive to a lot of people. You know, depending on your
Mm-hmm.
type or your tastes or whatever, but kindness is universal. Kindness is um kindness is more genuine. Kindness is longer lasting, I think. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I would rather
Okay.
be kind.
Does that order, kindness, intelligence, attractiveness, does that order align with how people do perceive you?
No, absolutely not. Not even anywhere close. Um, they do not. Well, I mean, and in all fairness, like I'm a streamer. So what's the
Mm-hmm.
first thing they see? There's this attractive female. So they're
Sure.
gonna say for
Yeah.
the attractive female, like of course. And and it's actually flipped because they stay because I'm attractive, but then or they tune in because I'm attractive,
Mm-hmm.
but they stay because I'm intelligent and I'm smart. And there's
Mm-hmm.
this
Yeah.
intelligent, really good-looking female. Oh, look at that! But it's hard to perceive kindness. In through a streaming platform. So most and a
Yeah.
lot of people don't see the kindness and don't
Mm-hmm.
see how I like the stuff behind the scenes, and that is something because it's personal. It's
Mm-hmm.
so they perceive me one way, and I don't think that they discount that I'm kind.
Mm-hmm.
I I just I yeah.
That's just. I think you're absolutely right, and I think they see the attractiveness, the intelligence, see the intelligence as they watch and listen, and then I think the kind part comes out in like when you do your car talks, and when you do your in the middle. I think that's where people see the kindness in you. So okay.
I literally would. I'm the type of person that gives gifts to like friends of friends. Oh, I heard so and
Mm-hmm.
so. Do you think so and so would like this? Here you go. Like I am the type of
Mm-hmm.
person like, well, I will give gifts to people I have never met before. That's the thing that you don't see on stream. That's the type of like,
Yeah.
oh, do you need this? No, it's fine. No. Like I'll you come store stuff in my garage. There's space in my garage. No, it'll save you money. It's fine. I'm not using my garage. It's fine. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
No, I need to pay you. No, you don't. Go ahead. Like it's fine. It's not
Mm-hmm.
bothering me. It's okay. And it's like stuff like that. Like
Yeah.
hey, I'm gonna buy
Yeah.
you. I'm gonna buy you cookies. I'm. That's why I do love birthdays. I love going because
You
I
do.
want people. I mean, and yes, that's part of my trauma, but at the part of
Mm-hmm.
me that's the trauma that sort of stuck around and sort of did become my personality. It's the trauma that did become my personality and I think it's also because I know the people in my life and their journeys a lot of times because I want to
Mm-hmm.
know their journeys and I want them to know that I'm glad that they exist. And that has nothing to do with me and trying to fulfill some need. It really is, it became this part of me that is like, I want you to know that I am glad that you are on this earth, no matter how hard you're struggling, no matter how I like, that's why birthdays are a big deal to me. And it's not
Yeah.
because and a part of it for a while, I was like, oh, I'm trying because nobody made me feel important on my birthday. But
Mm-hmm.
I know some of my friends' journeys, and I know this, and I know for me, like, I know that there's times where there's a possibility that they might not have made it to their next birthday. And the simple fact that they made it to their next birthday, as hard as that has been, is a big accomplishment. And it needs, and so I try to make sure that I'm like, I am glad you are here. I am glad that this is the day that you were born. And, I know to you it's another day. Um, and I know Miko did a whole thing of like, some people, they have trauma around their birthdays, and I can respect that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I mean, that's why I tried, like, I'm glad you exist. And so, yeah.
Okay. All right. And this one's very vague on purpose.
Oh, shit. Okay. All right. All right. Hold on. Hold on. Hold
Yeah.
on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. Go ahead. Take a sip. You got
I got to
five
get
minutes until your
caffeinated.
next
Okay.
sip.
Cool. 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 All right. All right. All right. I'm good.
What do you need more of in your life?
Fuck. I need more than that coffee. Hold on.
It could be
So,
anything.
there's a lot.
Mm-hmm. This isn't what you need the most of. This is just something you need. What do you need more of?
What do I need more of?
Mm-hmm.
That's like a trick question. And I'm going to
Yeah.
explain why it's a trick question. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Why
Mm-hmm.
I'm not avoiding the question. I'm just trying to walk you through my mental process
Sure.
because it bumps against radical acceptance. It bumps against my DBT skills of accepting that things are just they are what they are, and being mindful of that, and wishing I had more of something, and wishing for other things, and wishing for this, then to accept that this is what I have, and just, and but
Mm-hmm.
not, it's not just giving up. It's just saying, oh, this is where my life is at. But it bumping up of that whole, what lines up with my valued goals, what doesn't line up
Okay.
with my valued goals, because that plays a big role in it. And so it's a little hard because I know it's like, ooh, I want this and this and more of this and more of this. But
Yeah.
then it's like, does that line up with my value goals, or does that feed my trauma? Is
Ooh.
that trying
Okay.
to, so I'm not dodging that question. I'm
No,
just,
I understand that.
when do I need more of in my life? Mm. I think the thing that comes in, okay, the first thing that comes to my head, and well, there are two things. Everything's two, like everything's like comes in pairs and with me, um, but they go hand in hand. Uh, I need more grace and compassion. I think I think that a lot of people see me in one way, and so when I go through, and I think that that's what bumps up against my trauma is, I'm not in people's minds, and maybe not, but it's just in how their behaviors toward me and their treat me is, I'm not allowed to be flawed. I'm not allowed to be imperfect. I'm not allowed to have bad days. And I think that that's why a lot of times I stream impromptu streams, especially when I'm having bad days, because the people in my life don't allow me to have bad days. And I don't think that they do it on purpose. And so it's not me going, oh, well, like they're all just like, well, you know, that's not it. I think it's just, and maybe that's just my perceived notion. I don't know. It's something I'm still working on. But I think that my community provides me more of a safe space to be flawed, a more safe space to be imperfect. Um, I don't feel I don't feel unstable when I'm streaming. I think a lot of people in my life make me feel unstable because I have a bad time or a bad moment. I don't get a lot of support or reassurance. And maybe that's just the people I surround myself with. I mean, but I don't. I do have people that support me and reassure me. I'm not saying I don't have anyone. I'm just saying that um, I don't get a lot of that grace to be allowed to. Oh, she's just, you know, just stay still. Like it's that whole, I mean, stay still or stay quiet or, you know, wait till she's done and then we can like,
Wait till it passes. Wait till
right,
the yeah.
right. But
Or hmm
I can see where that, because of my hyper independence, because of um my like, no, well,
hmm
fuck it, I'll fix it myself, and trying to downplay how how much I'm hurting or struggling until it gets bad enough to where I do until it's too bad. And and that's what I'm working on trying not to do now. So, but yeah, I think if I what I need more now is I need more acceptance of who I am as a whole, not what people think I should be. And I think that that's where I struggle with a lot is I can accept people when they're in their worst. Why can't people accept me when I'm at my worst? Why do, and I think it's one of those, why do people just push me away when I'm in a bad time and like, oh, she's better now. Now we can, I'm
pick
not, if, if
yeah
I'm not inconvenient, then you don't get to be me when I am convenient. Like that's where I'm trying to
yeah.
get to is that's shitty. That's just
hmm
shitty. That I am absolutely the type of person that I don't give a shit if you are at your worst, if you are literally having a mental breakdown or having a bipolar episode or having a depressive episode or you know you're having a relapse or whatever. I am not that person that's going to go, oh fuck it, like you know just call me when. No, I will sit there and I will show up at somebody's door at 2 fucking a.m. and talk them down off the ledge. Like I am that person that will grab my keys and I will go and I will sit there and I'm that person. And it's not that I need anything, it's not that I'm fulfilling anything. I just feel like for me it's important to have for other people to have a person that accepts them regardless of where they are in that moment. And for and I I'm a I'm a typical Sagittarius. I am loyal until I am loyal to a
yeah.
fault. The moment you're like, okay, you're like, we're friends. I care about you. The moment you are in my inner circle, I will go to hell and high water for you and back. And not think twice about it. Not even think twice. It will not it will not be beyond me to be like say you or any like they like or Blue Ellie for example, like if
hmm
it's called me on the phone saying I need you, I will first off call you or somebody else to go sit with her or
hmm
somebody until I can get there. And that is
yeah.
absolutely the type of person I am. And I think I think it's hard for me to, and and this is where my therapy is, where I'm trying to work. Not everyone's like that. And I have to stop projecting my beliefs and philosophies on other people. And I think that that's where the victim mentality comes in. Well, I would do that for you. Why wouldn't you do that for me? And that's me taking ownership and accountability and responsibility for myself and my thought process, because I sit in that a lot. And I sit in that suffering and pain. Well, why wouldn't anybody do that for me? Well, that's because they're them, and maybe they handle situations differently. And I have to understand that. And I have to come to terms with that. Now, if I say I really need you and you still don't provide for me, then that's a totally different story.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay.
I don't even know what the question was, but there's the answer. I don't know.
That, you know what? At this point, it doesn't matter what the question was. That the answer was good. I'll take it. All right.
Okay.
I'm going between two different questions. They're similar questions, but I'm trying to decide which one I want. All right.
Okay.
Tell us about your. I say favorite. I don't mean like top favorite. I just kind of mean like one of your favorite holiday memories. Do you have any holiday memories that really stick out in a positive way? I have to. I know. I have to. Yes. I know you well enough.
Fucking A. All right.
And I'm not gonna go the other direction either, because I think that's
You know what? You can. We can. I don't,
really.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. It's not. Well, I have so many, and this does involve my kids. I think all the holidays with my children. I think especially when they were younger. I mean, they're getting older now, so I mean, holidays are obviously changing and the memories are changing. Yeah. But just like the joy that they have on Christmas Day and Christmas morning, and I love our tradition. We got a tradition of, like, we watch the Polar Express and we make hot cocoa every Christmas Eve. That's what we do. And the like, they're like, when I was still at the other house, like, they weren't allowed to go downstairs, and it's even on Easter too, because the Easter bunny and like, it's the excitement and the joy that they have, because holidays were very different as a religious in a religious household, as you know.
Yes.
It was Christmas was very formal. Easter was very formal. If you even celebrated Easter in a secular type of way, because usually Easter morning was waking up and going to sunrise service, and so making those memories with my kids, and just the joy and being able to do that and provide that space for my kids. I do know the funniest holiday memory actually had to do with New Year's Eve.
Really?
New Year's, yes. It was a Christmas. We were visiting in Charlotte. So it wasn't too long ago, within the past 5 years, because we went over to Blue Ellie's house, and I think she had just moved in to her current house. And, she has a son that's the same age as Nora. And Nora heard me mention her. She's like, "Oh, shoot!" And
she knows what I'm talking about.
So, of course, New Year's, you set off fireworks like that, because like any proper redneck. And
yep.
and it was in South Carolina, so fireworks are legal. And so the kids had little poppers, and throwing them on the ground because they love them. They're throwing them down, and all the parents are sitting around, and we were having cigarettes and drinking and what you do on New Year's.
Yep,
And
yep.
Nora, I can't remember if Nora did it to herself or if Blue Ellie's son P did it to her, but somebody threw a handful of poppers at Nora's feet, and it popped, and it scared her, and it popped, and she goes, "Shit!" And all the parents were sitting there in like the launch, like the fold out chairs, and we're like, and we just bust out laughing. There was like a parenting moment, and but that was like the moment where we could be the parents of like, you're not supposed to say that. We're like, just Nora.
Who's not gonna say that?
I know. We laughed, and it was like, Nora. Okay, well, because they hear us curse all the time. So like, my kids are like, Mom, don't curse. Like they regulate themselves. Like, so I'm not even worried about it. But yeah, that was the funniest. We just I think we laughed for a good solid 5 minutes. Like, Nora was just hysterical. Like, it was just one of those. She's like, shit, and she's like 7, 8.
Yeah. I remember when you allowed them to curse on a Sea of Thieves, the specific one that she chose. She's yeah. Mm-hmm.
She's in middle school now. She's hearing worse.
Yeah.
I think that's the other thing is trying to, when you try to protect them from something and not educate them on something, they're going to be exposed to cursing and to other things, and to act like that doesn't exist, to be like, well, we're not doing that, but to talk with them about it, like, hey, okay, well, we don't curse, like, those are adult words, they understand they're adult words, and I think that I have tried very hard to be honest with my children, like as honest as the age appropriate honesty. I'm not trying to trauma dump on them or make my problems their problems or any of that, but just be honest with them. Like, they understand that there are times where mommy's like really, really tired because I'm working 2 jobs, and that sometimes I'm not going to be in the best, and I'm not making them feel guilty. I said, that's not your son. That is what mommy needs to do. And just being honest with them actually breeds that trust. I think it's when you try to protect them from the evils of the world, it doesn't provide you as a safe space for them. Being able to provide a space where I'm going to be honest with you and you can be honest with me, and it's a place of non-judgment, I think that is what I'm trying to provide for my kids, that what I didn't have growing up. So
okay.
It's Labor Day weekend, so like not a lot of people are watching, so it's like it's sort of great. It's sort of great. You had the hardest one.
You say whatever.
I know. Nobody's gonna watch this shit. That's fine.
Yeah. No, except for on demand.
It's fine.
But then it's not in real time, so you don't know when they're watching. That's
cool. Yeah. But see, the chat's not nearly as lively as it was when you were.
I know the chat. The chat was. Yeah, the chat was lively when I was in the hot seat. Oh. Yeah. All right. What is the most trouble you've ever been in? This could be school. This could be the law. This could be.
I've never got in trouble with the law ever.
Okay.
That is the one thing. Well, also because my driving force was I wanted to go into education for so long, and I was involved in education so long, so I worked very hard not to put myself in that.
You walked the line?
I did. Well, walk the line, never got caught.
That's really what it is.
Yeah. So that was a very big driving force for me. It wasn't that I was a goody two shoes. It was just that
You were good at
education.
not getting caught.
Well, yeah, but
Hmm.
education was a very driving force for me because I enjoy working with students. I do. I enjoy teaching in any way, shape, or form. So, which is sort of what I do. Have you noticed that? It's sort of what I've sort of
Hmm.
transferred that whole educator teaching people aspect to my streaming.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
Um,
That's true. So, what about school? Did you ever get in trouble at school?
no.
Not even like your wardrobe. No, no wardrobe violations. Of course, back when we were growing up, it wasn't really a thing. At least for me, it wasn't. At my school, wardrobe there were. I mean, the wardrobe stuff was
Well, you
very
also have to
lax when I was in
remember
school.
that part of my life. Like I mean, I
Hmm.
was wearing risque things, but it was only outside of school. It
Gotcha.
was never,
Yeah.
um,
Okay.
I mean, I got in trouble a lot. I spent my entire sophomore year grounded. Uh,
I was getting to that one. Okay, so what about family? What's
I was always in trouble at home. Always.
Hmm.
Now, what I am discovering, folks, what I am discovering as I am unpacking all of my shit, is
Hmm.
that
Yeah.
it was a disproportionate response to the behaviors. As a parent, I am understanding
Hmm.
the punishments did not fit the crime. The punishments were always way worse than what the actual crime was
Yeah.
like. So I think that also played a part a lot. No, well, it didn't play a part. It was a part of why
Hmm.
I strive, like why I freak out when I make mistakes, and why I freak out when I'm not perfect.
Hmm.
Because it's very much, um, I don't even like if I would miss curfew, if I was late by 5 minutes, and it wasn't 5 minutes by my time. And remember, we didn't have cell phones or smart, any of that.
We
Like
didn't.
5 minutes by my time, not by their clock, not by the person, like not by my clock or my car or the whoever I
It
was with.
was.
It was by my parents. And if I was
Yep.
5 minutes late by my parents' clock, I had to walk
Hmm.
in with my keys and my driver's license, and I was grounded for 2 weeks.
Wow.
Um,
Wow.
there was a time I I don't even remember what I did, to be 100% honest, because again,
Hmm.
the punishment was always disproportionate.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So I don't even remember what I did, but I was grounded for 2 weeks. Like I was grounded, and I
Hmm.
wasn't allowed. It was over. It was over a time when it was a weekend of an honors ensemble at Western, and which, if for those of you who don't know, like a lot of the universities held weekends where you were invited to go play in these groups, ensembles for the weekend, and it was this big deal. And that you were invited and you were picked out of, like, it was a big deal. And so I was invited to one, but it was in that course, and I said, I have to go to this. This is not something like, this is a big deal, because at the time I was going to be band director. That goes on your resume, that goes on everything that you do, you network, all
Yep.
those things. And my stepdad was like, okay, well, you have a choice. You can be grounded for 2 extra weeks, so you'll be grounded an entire month, or you cannot go to the ensemble. So you are grounded for a week every day that you are attending that weekend. And so I chose to be grounded for an entire month, because I was not going to sacrifice my future for a present day punishment. So,
Hmm.
yeah. I often did a lot of corporal punishment. There was a lot of corporal punishment. There was a lot of
Hmm.
moving very large wood piles around my property. And when I say my
Hmm.
property, that's 8 acres. My stepdad was just like, and we had a wood burning stove, so we used to get like the huge wood piles, like truckloads.
Yeah.
And
Oh wow.
yeah, oh, that's not stacked right. We're gonna move this over here. So we had a wagon. And I would spend days moving wood, stacking wood properly, stacking wood another way, and then he would be like, well, that doesn't look right. I don't really like that, and I don't like where that is, so we're going to move it another place. You would think that I was like out doing drugs and like whoring myself out. Like now that I think about it, like as harsh as my punishments were,
Mm-hmm.
you would think I was a bad kid. Like you would think that, and a bad kid. I mean, like, but I wasn't. I really, really
Yeah.
wasn't. I spent most of my time in church and in school. Like the things I was punished for was normal kid shit.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the trauma.
Gotcha.
The
Yeah,
trauma.
it's a good trauma. Yeah, all kinds of good. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That definitely, yeah, it definitely sounds out of proportionate. Um. All right. How do you know when you can trust someone?
This would be my butthole, like clenching up.
You're just tight.
My sphincter just tightened. I think I'm pretty sure I just made a diamond right
Are you
now.
making a diamond?
um, God, I'm so uncomfortable right now. I'm so uncomfortable right now. I don't. I don't know.
Okay.
There's. I don't. I think and honestly, I don't think that there is. My personal belief is I don't think that there is any one thing that a person does that
Mm-hmm.
anyone that it's a conscious choice. You have to choose. Trust is a choice. Trust is a choice, and you have that initial trust, that blemish-free trust that you usually get
Mm-hmm.
with a new person, and then you get real trust. And what I mean by real trust is when that person has hurt you or done something to bother you or whatever, and you're sitting
Mm-hmm.
in that place of discomfort and hurt and um, and sometimes suffering, because sometimes you sit in it. Sometimes
Mm-hmm.
trust is a choice, and then you get real trust where you go, you know what? I'm going to trust this. It's no longer rose colored, innocent trust. It's not that
Mm-hmm.
whole, they've done nothing wrong to me, I could trust them. No, I trust them because I choose to trust them. I choose to trust them because you can be friends and love somebody a whole life. And I think of it this way. You're hanging on a cliff. Like it's like that cartoon. It's like you're hanging on a cliff holding onto a branch.
Mm-hmm.
And your friend is, or whoever is standing above you, and they're reaching down and they tell you to grab my hand. No, if I let go, I'm going to fall. They're like, you have to trust me. And in that moment, you're choosing to trust them or you choose not to. And that's sort of how I think of it. Is it's trust is a choice. And if they betray you over and over again, yes, you can choose absolutely not to trust them, and it's completely justifiable. But that's also why some people, and I myself included, get really hurt, is because they choose to trust people that have hurt them over and over again. And then you have no one to blame but yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I know for myself, and I can't say for other people, but I know for myself, that's where that was a very harsh reality I had to come to, and a very hard lesson I had to learn, is that these people betrayed my trust and these people are constantly hurting me. Well, that's because you chose to trust them.
over and over again.
Yeah. There's a time where you can forgive them and trust them and forgive
Mhm.
them and maybe trust them, maybe try to give them the benefit of the doubt. But over time, and you can choose the level of trust you want for that person. You can trust somebody and not trust them with everything. And that's
Mhm.
okay too. Trust is not a all or nothing. It is levels. It's a sliding scale. And I think that that's another thing I had to learn too. I don't
Good
trust
answer.
and nowadays I don't trust so easily. And the problem is that when I do trust, it's like it's like when I finally do trust somebody, it's like my heart is like everything is like completely
You feel it
exposed.
vulnerable. You feel
Yes,
exposed.
that
Yeah.
vulnerability. Fuck vulnerability.
Mhm.
Vulnerability. I have a tumultuous relationship. So there.
Okay.
Ah.
Mhm.
These are good questions. I'm proud of you, PepPep. I am proud of
Thank
you.
you.
I thought
Thank
for
you.
sure that
Thank
it
you.
was like, tell us your favorite childhood memory. Okay.
You thought I was gonna play softball, didn't you?
I
You
really
did.
fucking
You thought I
did.
was
I
gonna play
really,
softball.
honestly, I'm
Yeah.
not even
I
going to
mean,
lie.
it's
I thought
understandable.
that
It's
you would show
understandable.
up unprepared and be like, I don't know what to talk about. I'm going to rely on the community.
It's, community, I love you, but no.
This is his chance. This is his one chance he has. So
Uh huh.
it's like,
Uh huh. Yeah.
oh my God, my cheeks are red. Like, that question was hard. Okay. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and for those of you who don't know, okay, and just in side note, when I mention things that are happening in physically happening to me, it is because that is called being mindfulness. It's being mindful of your body's reaction to
Mm-hmm.
something. So when I say them out loud, it is so that I am aware of where my physiology is in regards to my emotions and my thought processes, so that I can start, like, I can feel a gauge of where my emotions is, so that I can regulate my emotions before getting into a distressful state. Look at that.
Wow,
Yay!
look at that growth.
Growth.
That is
I don't
amazing.
just sit here in silence anymore and just let it like burn, so it's fine.
That's good. Yeah.
I'm trying.
You are doing really, really well.
Okay,
You have
thanks.
provided you have provided great answers.
Can you tell I'm uncomfortable now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yep.
cool.
Yep. Yep.
Cool.
I can. I can. But
I was all
even
like,
through the
I was all like, oh, this is gonna be fine. I'm gonna be fine. And now I'm like, oh shit, I'm actually in the hot seat.
you're like, oh, what is he gonna ask? And you see now you're like, I have you unbalanced. Like, what is he gonna ask? Oh my god. Mm. All right. I think we got time for a couple more. How do you like to receive care?
Aftercare? I feel like that there's podcasts
I
for that.
mean,
There's a
there
podcast for that.
is.
Go watch the Dinks and
Okay,
Geeks
okay.
episode about
Let
aftercare.
me.
I like it. What I mean.
This yes. No, that actually wasn't about aftercare. Okay. Let me specify this one. How do you like to receive care when you're sick?
When I'm sick,
Yeah.
it depends on my
Yep.
sickness.
Okay.
It does.
Uh huh.
A lot of times I want to be cuddled, and that's like a lot of people are like, I don't want to cuddle you because I don't want to get sick. But
You're
it's like,
snotty and stuff.
I know, but even it's if I am in pain, I want to be left
Mm-hmm.
alone.
Okay.
I do not like when I am in pain. Like there is a pain. There is like I am feeling whatever. What pain.
Yeah.
And I don't mean like pain caused by emotions. I mean like physical. I've been hurt or something because I've had some abdominal issues before.
Mm-hmm.
Don't touch
Oh
me.
God, I remember those.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was bedridden for 5 days.
Yeah.
Don't touch me. Do not touch me because
Yep.
I am concentrating on just trying to get through that moment, and touching
Mm-hmm.
me makes it worse. It overstimulates and makes it worse. when I am like sick, like like or like
Yeah.
I'm like, bring me egg drop soup and cuddle
Uh-huh.
me
Oh,
and like like check on me and like
pass me Kleenexes.
yeah, like it very much that
Uh-huh.
whole like sad and pathetic like like cuddle
Uh-huh.
me.
Egg.
I don't feel good.
Oh my God. Take care of me.
Yes, but that would be like probably the one
Hmm.
time I'm like, come cuddle me.
Yeah.
I'm very sad and pathetic when I'm because
Come cuddle me.
because I work until it's so
Oh,
bad that I can't function. Like
yeah.
I'm one of those people. It's like it's a cold. I'm fine. It's a cold. I'm fine. Just leave me alone. Like
It's COVID. I'm fine.
but like I am that person. It's like I'm like I'll take some drink, wear a mask, and I'll like. There was one
It's
time at my when I was working at my design job like a year ago where I got really sick and I was like in a
mhm.
blanket at my desk and I had my feet up and I was like this and I was
Oh my God.
coughing but I was still like this. I was still working. They're like, go home. I'm like, no, I'm good. I'm like,
Mhm.
so
I got this. It's fine.
if I am laid up in bed, it's bad and I want to be cuddled.
Yeah. If you take a day off from work, lay it up in bed, you
Yes.
get cuddles and egg drop soup.
Yes. And
Okay.
honestly, you're not gonna like this. You know the egg drop soup thing?
Yeah.
I actually got from JP.
Really?
Oh,
How did
I
that
knew
happen?
that one would. I knew that one would hit you. Yes. Because he did that when I was sick. He got me egg drop soup,
Oh,
and
okay. Gotcha.
um, but it did like I like that better than chicken noodle soup. But it has the same
Okay.
type of protein and stuff.
Sure.
So, yeah,
Okay.
when we were together when I was sick, he would get me egg drop soup, and that's just something that just stuck with me. I think it was because one of the few things he actually did that was nice. So, I mean, maybe that.
There's a yeah. A broken clock is right twice a day.
We have to think about the good things and the bad
We
things,
do.
Pep
We do.
Pep.
We do. It's true. You're right. You're right. You're right.
Can
Hmm.
you tell he's not a fan?
We got stories. They're stories. All right. How do you cope when things are hard?
Healthily? Okay,
Okay,
you
let's
need to be way more specific, Pep Pep. You need to be way more specific than that with that question.
what were some of your unhealthy coping skills, and how have you replaced them or are working to replace them?
Oh, okay. Self harm. I would self harm. If I was feeling any type of mental and emotional distress, uh, I would do things like stab forks in my leg. I would, um, and sometimes I still do that now. If I'm being real honest, like if I have nails, like I will sit here and I will press them in the palm of my hand. Um, uh, yeah, I would binge and purge, which is a form of self harm, because it was the
Hmm.
one thing that I felt like I had control over. The comfort of binge eating and then the control of that. Um, I would try to escape. Uh, a lot of times I would, in my younger years, I would try to use sex as an escape, a form of escape. Instead of drinking or getting high or whatever, I would use sex. Um, and usually I was always dating somebody, so that was easy. But yeah, so it was never risky sex, which I guess I'm very thankful for on that. But that's why
Hmm.
I'm um, very cautious about when I'm in a mental state now is I try not to use sex as an escape, as a form of distraction. So because it's not healthy for me and it's not healthy for the other person. That's why I hate makeup sex. I don't like makeup sex. And I
Okay.
know that makeup sex is like breeds the intimacy, but I feel that you can be intimate with somebody without having to go that route.
Okay.
Yeah, those are my major ones.
Okay.
So my
So you have been doing a lot of growth and a lot of healing. So what are your coping skills now?
okay, this is gonna sound very very technical, but this is my coping
Eh?
skills now. First off, when I feel myself, and it goes along with my all of my DBT skills. This goes along with my toolkit. First, I have to identify what I'm feeling, and
Mm-hmm.
I identify what it is. I try to, and not even necessarily try to go to the source immediately. I try to go just super surface level. What am I feeling? What is my body feeling? What is my body
Mm-hmm.
feeling? Be mindful of that. Okay. All right, here's where I'm at. What skills what emotion regulation skills can I use at this moment? Sometimes it's just taking a second, the stopping,
Mm-hmm.
taking a minute, removing myself from the situation, gathering myself, going, okay, and trying to regulate that, accepting that this is where I'm at. I try, and sometimes when they're in, and they'll tell you, sometimes you just get to a point where you mentally and emotionally can't use those skills. So then you go to a more radical, like tip, like temperature. Like I have gone and I have like splashed ice water, like you hold ice water on your face, or I have literally done a like sprints in a bathroom before, because they do that.
Okay.
Um, and then I once I get away from that distress, that massive distress, and I have lowered that, then I journal, and then I message my therapist,
Mm-hmm.
because thankfully with my therapy, with BetterHelp, I can message her through the app, and I'll message her and be like, okay, here's where I'm at, here's what I'm doing, and she'll give me some advice, and then sometimes none of that works. Sometimes you just feel like shit, and you have to accept that. And then I'll game. I will game. I will absolutely game. Um, and I will game and just go. There's times where Sean, you and I have silent
Mm-hmm.
gamed. I'm like, I want to
We
game.
have.
I don't want to be by myself. I don't. This is not a
Mm-hmm.
time for me to be by myself. But I don't want to
Mm-hmm.
talk. I don't want to talk.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to do anything. So we will not like. We'll be on game, but he's like, I'll be on mute, and I'll just
Yeah.
be doing my thing, and he'll just be following along, or just be like doing his thing, and
Yeah.
he's just keeping me company in game while I'm just not talking. So I
Mm-hmm.
will often game, as a way of trying to cope or escape until I am emotionally, mentally ready to deal, or in a place where I can deal with what I am going through. So
Wow. I'm impressed by those skills and all that you've learned since you've been in therapy. Those are really really good. That's
they're not
that's not easy to
easy. They're
do.
fucking
I was gonna
hard.
say that is
You know,
not easy
it's so fucking hard.
because you get so driven by these urges and this mind, like the
Yeah.
emotions, and like all you want to do is act on that.
Mm-hmm.
And what you're describing is like stopping that, slowing that down, and going, no, I'm not going to do the thing that
But
I just want to do.
right. But they also have a thing called urge surfing.
Mm-hmm.
When you get to a point and there is none of your skills are working, none of them are working, and you
Yeah.
have the urge to do the unhealthy coping mechanism. You have the urge, like that is like all you like. You're feeling all the emotions, and you just want to whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You ride that out. You accept that this is where you are, and that's what you want to do. And you go, okay, I'm just
Mm-hmm.
going to ride this out. It's like getting on a surfboard and going, well, this is just going to
Riding
take
the
me where
wave.
it's going to take me, and just ride it out. And not necessarily acting on it,
Okay.
but sometimes you just have
Just
to
sitting in that
you have to sit
urge.
on the boat and let it take you where you want to go, and it's going to be uncomfortable, and
Mm-hmm.
and again, accepting that it's going to be uncomfortable for a little bit, accepting this is what you're on to do, and not judging yourself for that, not judging yourself for wanting to binge and purge, not judging yourself for wanting to obsessively text somebody because you're feeling lonely or whatever, or hurt, or sending the litany of novel of text, or being that.
Mm-hmm.
No,
Put the
like,
phone down.
put the phone down, and you just ride that urge out, and it will eventually, just like you often say, the storm does run out of rain. And that's why
does.
urge surfing is absolutely a technique, because it's teaching you that sometimes the skills aren't always going to make you feel better, and sometimes you just got to hold on and hang on for the ride. And
Yep.
that's something I worked very hard on.
Yeah. You are. It is evident that you are doing that. I am very proud of you for how far you've come and that you're using these skills. It really is. It's not easy, and you are doing great. So I'm very
Can
proud
you
of
tell I'm feeling way awkward?
Can you tell I'm awkward?
Can you tell?
A Roog's hack. When she's awkward, finger guns.
Finger guns. Or the thumbs up. It's that. It's
Or the thumbs up. Oh, it's the double thumbs up too.
Yeah.
The forced smile and the double thumbs up. Oh God.
Can I feel any more awkward right now? Oh, you thought that there was nothing I didn't talk about. There you go.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
What's funny is I have questions there. I of course have a list of questions.
Of course.
There are a lot of my questions that you have answered while answering other questions. So, hey, Surugs. First one about urge surfing. It's described as what fighter pilots use to not puke when performing maneuvers. Interesting. I've never heard about that. They just ride that urge. They feel like got a puke, and they just ride that.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, like the force on them.
The G-force?
The
Yeah.
G-force.
Well, that makes sense. Yeah.
It's an
Okay.
external thing.
Right.
They have to learn. Yes, and eventually it passes. Right. Like, you have to learn that this is a feeling that you're going to have. That this is accepting that this is a feeling you're going to have while doing the thing, and just riding it out, and it does pass. It does pass. Your brain will go, well, this is where we're at, and we're going to move past it. Because it's like when it's hot outside. We used to teach our marching band kids, because Sean, you taught marching band. Like, it's so hot, and I'm tired, and I don't want to do this. I'm like, well, if you keep focusing on it being hot, that's all you're going to think about. But if you focus in and put your mind in a place where we're going to rehearse, and it's 10 minutes at a time. If you focus in on rehearsing 10 minutes at a time, and we're going to give you a 5-minute break, you can make it through those 10 minutes. It's going to be hot, and you're going to understand that, but we're focusing in on something else, and that's very similar to that. Very, very.
Oh, I remember when I was in Texas, back in July, in the middle of July. Like, I got to Texas, and I'm like, I'm like, oh my God, the heat, and I was sweating, and I felt nasty, and I smelled, and like I was like miserable for the first like 24 hours. But there got to be a point after that where I was like, okay, this is just what it is. The heat is what the heat is. I'm going to be sweaty. I'm going to be nasty. I'm going to smell. But so is everyone else. We're all in the heat together. And at that point, I was like, okay, it's just going to happen. I'm going to accept that it's going to be hot. And I'm just going to, if I feel like I need to take a shower, take a shower. If I feel like I need to change clothes, change clothes. But it's going to be hot. Extra deodorant. It is what it is.
Yeah.
So that's the only way I survived that week, I'm telling you, because oh my God, it was hot.
Yeah. Well, it didn't help that I was moving in literally the hottest summer that Texas has ever seen. So that's bad.
Yes. Oh my God. Thank you for hiring movers.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Oh my God, I cannot imagine. Yeah.
They were great though. Our movers were great.
They were. Oh yeah, they were great. They were. Okay. I think the last question.
Mutually assured depression. Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. That's it. All right. Last question. What is an interest or a hobby now that you never thought you'd be into? Use your words. What is you're gesturing?
I just
Vanna
put
White.
coffee on my blush brush. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, that's what I get for being dramatic.
Yes. Yeah. Your space. You can't be as dramatic in that space right now.
I honestly, I never thought I'd be a streamer. I never thought I'd be a gamer. Absolutely not anywhere. And as avid a gamer and streamer as I am, and how much joy it brings me, how fun it is for me. I honestly never in 100 years, like not even
If
like
someone had told you when you were younger,
like when I started
like, "Shut up."
streaming in quarantine, like I wasn't even gaming. Like we bought an Xbox right before everybody was trying to buy an Xbox. Like Seabriggs was able, like he sort of was like, okay, we're gonna get a console so that we at least have something to do. And I remember the first game I had like really played was Plague Tale. And, you know, single player, like, I was like, oh, this is sort of fun. Okay. But then I was like, and then Sea of Thieves came along. And I was like, oh my God, this is great. And
all about Sea of Thieves.
Sea of Thieves. And it went from there. I enjoy gaming. I'm glad you decided to become a streamer and gamer. I appreciate that.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
I look back. I didn't want to be a streamer. I didn't want to be a streamer. I wanted to be a YouTuber. I wanted to have the polished videos. I wanted to have.
You've seen the polished video.
We've done reaction videos to the polished videos.
Ooh, that was good.
I didn't realize. I was like, oh, like, you know, I was doing pretty good. Was I? I wanted the polished videos. I wanted the produced videos. I wanted an audio podcast. I wanted to be an audio podcaster. And I didn't want to be a streamer. I think there was a part of me that didn't understand a lot of what streaming was, and a lot of what streaming is, and what draws me to streaming, both gaming. Why I like to game with my kids, because they get to see that part of me as well. With my kids, they get to see the real me. Like yesterday, my kids had meltdowns. Like they both had meltdowns. Which, by the way, Chloe was winning and her controller died. That's what happened. She was winning and she had a complete breakdown because her controller died. That's what happened to Chloe, and she was a mess because my little
I don't blame her though. I do that.
Yeah.
Have you ever thrown a controller because the controller did something stupid?
I've never thrown a controller.
I haven't thrown one, but I've dropped them heavily.
I just sort of toss them, but
yeah.
Yeah.
So
I think
streaming
and gaming, being a gamer. It took me a long time to admit that I was a gamer too, even after I was streaming. But the whole thing about streaming that I enjoy, both here and going live on YouTube, is the community. I didn't realize how disconnected a polished video can make you, because you don't get the real time, you don't get the personality, you get whatever you edit into that. And I think with my podcasting and my streaming, they get to see me. I think I get to be more honest. I get to be more real. The mistakes are in real time. The words are in real time. And you don't know how many times, like, I go impromptu live and then I take the video down because I'm like, oh, okay, well, I said too much. There is TMI on live. There is TMI. And I just, yeah. I didn't think I would be like, Starfield's coming out. I'm like, oh, Starfield's coming out. Oh, like, oh, I can't wait. Like, I'm gonna check out the specs on make sure I can run it, and okay, and all the
Is my setup good? Do I got the keyboard, the mouse?
Opinions about keyboard versus controller, like.
Yes. Is my controller charged? Do I have extra battery packs?
I do. I have all. Yeah. I never thought I would be that person in a million years. No, not even 3 years ago. Like I would. I'm like, no. I'm just.
It's the lighting, the mics.
Hey.
It's what I love about you is you don't just go, okay, yeah, I'm gonna kind of do this thing. You're like, if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it well. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna own this thing. I'm gonna absolutely own this. And so you're watching, like, I don't hear from you for hours, and I'm like, hey, what you doing? Researching audio. Lights. I bought some lights.
Here's the thing that a lot of people don't know about me. And maybe they do. I don't know, but I very much. It's not just about being the best. It's not about it that I absolutely am a knowledge sponge. I am a knowledge junkie. I love learning. I think that intelligence is sexy. I love learning. So if I'm gonna like, if there's something I don't know about, I'm going to educate myself about it. I'm going to watch the YouTube videos. I'm going to research. I'm going to see, okay, what angles, why the angles, tell me why the angles matter. Okay. And lighting is fascinating. It's very much like sound. What mood do you want to set? What lighting angles make what moods? Because, if you want the documentary style, because sometimes it's like, just on the side of the face with the dark shadow. And then nowadays, but then you notice that nowadays the documentaries are all fully lit and very bright and open, and so and trends that change with lighting, because lighting for gamers looks different, the trends look different, everything evolves and changes. And I latch on, this is my neurodivergency, I latch onto a subject and I want to read and know everything I can about it and why. And I will watch for months. There was one time I was really into World War I, and I think for 3 months straight all I was watching was documentaries about it while I was getting ready, while I was doing this. Like, Seabriggs would come in and be like I think he learned more about, like, vicariously through all of the documentaries that I was watching, because it was like I was always had them on the TV. I was always watching that. I was reading articles. I was doing that. I love learning. I love learning, and it's truth. I absolutely love learning, and it's not just about major things. It is about small things, like what are fashion trends and why are fashion trends? What are the mental health trends? Because there are trends in mental health. Because for a long time it was throw a pill at it, and now it's a lot of DBT skills, because a lot of like that, like it's a trend. It's and following because it's people, and learning about where society is, and it's very much sociology, and because I love learning. That's where I focus in on why World War I happened, what led up to that. Well, there was a bunch of people interacting. It isn't just like specific events. Why the House of Windsor is the House of Windsor? Well, it was a PR campaign. Like, if you think about all of that, like, a lot of people don't go there, and I do. Intelligence is sexy. You want to keep me engaged for a long time. And it's not even something that I know a lot about. Talk to me about things that you know a lot about, that you are passionate about. And I may not know anything about it, but I could listen to somebody talk about something that they are passionate and well versed in for hours. I can. And I will. Yeah. And I'll be like, I'm learning something.
Tell me more.
Yeah, I know. Tell me something. I'm learning something. I had no idea. Just talk to me about it. I don't care. So, yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, we're glad Paragon said it. We're glad you decided to become a streamer and a gamer. Love watching you. It's exciting to watch you be passionate about the things that you enjoy.
What do you think? Like, what are the things? Maybe I asked you that. Like,
this isn't about me.
It was like,
no. Yes.
Yeah. Like, what is the one thing that you want to know about me that you are just dying to know?
The one thing I want to know about you? I know a lot about you. So, trying to think of one thing I don't know about you.
What is one thing?
Uh-huh.
What is one thing you've always wanted to tell me but never told me?
Again, I think we something I've wanted to tell you. Usually that happens like there's something I want to tell you and then I don't for a while and then at some point I do. They just come out in weird places. I'm like, I should tell her that. That is a tough one. I don't. Yeah, because there were things I didn't tell you for a while, but then I did.
Everybody like how I turned that around on him.
Yeah, that's tough. Yeah, this is supposed to be about me. This is about
Okay, before
no.
we go, is there anything the community
Yeah.
wants to know before
Come
we
on,
go?
all right, come on, Paragon. You gotta have a question.
Like nobody talked
What
the
makes-
entire time when we were streaming, and I was
What
like,
makes a Roogs tick? I know everybody wants to. What questions?
I love
Mhm.
how like no one talked during this one. I'm like, okay, cool. That doesn't hit my
Well,
trauma.
again, but like I said, when it was you asking me questions, I don't talk about myself a lot, and that is my own trauma actually, that I don't talk about myself. Whereas with you are vulnerable and open.
It's a Duracell. That's how she ticks.
Oh.
No, they have
but
rechargeable batteries now.
or or you plug in. Mm-hmm. But you are so open and vulnerable, and you stream a lot, and you're honest about what you're going through, and what you're thinking, and how you feel. So that's why it was actually a little difficult for me to come up with questions to ask you, because there's not a lot that you haven't talked about.
Well,
So,
okay.
yeah.
What is one
Uh-huh.
thing that you wish that I would believe about myself that I absolutely don't, that I fight you on all the time? I honestly don't know. Like that's because I fight you on a lot of things. So I'm
You
like,
do, I mean, you don't have to apologize for existing.
I stopped doing that though.
I know you did, yeah. But that was one of the major things that for the longest time I was like, stop apologizing. I'm sorry. Stop apologizing. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I exist. It's great.
Mm-hmm.
It's great.
One thing.
So great.
One thing. Yeah. You can. People use this cliche a lot. You can do anything you want. You can be anything you want. I don't think that's necessarily true for most people, because I think for most people we have our strengths, weaknesses, we have our limits. Through your journey, not your journey over years since we rebooted, one of the things that I've often thought about you is anything that you decide you want to do, you can do. The only thing you're limited by are the tools that you have. If you decide I want to do this thing, I want to learn how to be a streamer. I want to learn how to be a better gamer. I want to learn how to like myself better. Anything that you do, anything that you decide to do, you can absolutely accomplish. You just have to be given the right tools.
What is one thing that you wish other people knew about me, about how they perceive me versus what the reality is?
It used to be what you said, which is that you aren't perfect. I think that's one of the things is a lot of people put you on a pedestal. Anyone that's watched your impromptu, your car talks and whatnot, see that part of you and should know better than to put you on a pedestal. But I think that's the thing that when people first get introduced to you, like through the podcasts, or just meeting you, is she's got it all together. And she's perfect. She's got, she's intelligent, she's smart, she's funny, she's witty. She's got all this stuff going for her. But you're just the real person.
I think the
Real
fall
person.
from the pedestal is the hardest
Yeah.
for me, because
Yes.
a lot of people My relationships with a lot of people don't recover from that.
And the sad part is it's not your fault. It hits you hard because it's the friendships that you have, the relationships that you have, but it's not your fault. You don't try to put yourself on a pedestal. Most people do that themselves by only exposing themselves to you in a certain way or seeing you in a certain light and ignoring everything else.
And then it becomes
Don't-
like this whole like, well, it's a red flag, and oh, she's not what I thought she was, or what, or, and that's what I mean when I say like I need more grace. I need more of that.
Yes.
Like, I'm. Why am I not allowed to be flawed? Why? Why am I not allowed to be flawed? And it's a lot of times it's with people that I'm very close to. And then all of a sudden something happens and I am knocked off that pedestal in their eyes. And there's no recovering from that for some people.
Yeah.
And I think that that does hit me really, really hard because like I said, when I let people in my inner circle, I am loyal till the very end. And that's gotten me in trouble. And that is something that it's like, well, what, but is that something that I want to change? I don't think so. I don't think that could be a lot of my trauma, but that's not something that I want to change. Because I really, honestly, I like that about me. And I've had, and it does hurt me. And I have to accept that could get me in some really bad situations. And I have to be very aware of that. But I like that about me. I like that I'm going to keep showing up until somebody says, stop showing up. I'm going to keep showing up even when they push me away. I'm going to keep showing up. And that may be annoying. But I mean, and I'm trying to respect people's boundaries. And I do. But I keep showing up until somebody says, stop showing up.
You fight for your friends. You are loyal to your friends. You will do everything that you possibly can to help your friends. And you've learned to do that in a healthy way.
I have.
Because you used to do that in an unhealthy way
I have.
back in the day. Yeah. But you've done that in a healthy way.
Yeah.
And that's to be commended. That's again another area where you've really grown. Is you're not sacrificing yourself for other people. So,
But
yeah,
there we go.
there it is. So,
I love how no one showed up until like the very end. That's great. Oh, that's cool.
You know what? Go back and watch it. It was great. You're learning a lot about. I think we should start calling these a Rug's hacks.
A Rug's hacks?
Yeah, Rug's hacks. Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. Ways to learn things to know about a Rug's.
Behind what is it? Behind the music?
Yes, it's behind the Arugs. Wait, that's a different podcast. Never mind.
Yeah, I was like, Well, I appreciate you not throwing me softballs. Well,
I knew you would not have respected me in the morning if I did.
You're right. I wouldn't have. I needed you to go hard.
Yeah. Wait. Again, different podcast. We are bleeding over.
Well, we got to end with humor because I am feeling really exposed right now. So I'm like, my face is so hot. I'm like, okay. So with that, hey.
Okay, I'm gonna answer one of the questions you had a few minutes ago about what I want you to know, what I want you to hear. One of the things I wanted to tell you is that when you feel exposed and you feel vulnerable and you do things like this and you're worried that it's going to cause people to leave you or to reject you, it tends to do the opposite, and it makes people believe in you and trust in you and see you for who you are and not on a pedestal. It has the opposite effect of what you're afraid of.
And with that, thanks for watching Waking Up.
There you go.
Oh, well, that was Nana in the hot seat. Okay, great. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess you guys can, if you subscribe to my channel, you can go back and watch it. So that's great.
What are we doing tonight?
I mean, I guess at Jaylee's. What should we do tonight?
Did you say work on some 76? Work
We
the
could work on
scoreboard?
76.
Yeah, or we can play Hot Wheels.
I don't know if we'll get Hot Wheels working.
I don't know if we get it working. Yeah, we try. Oh man, we fought for
You
like
know
an
what?
hour. trying to get that thing to work.
I don't know. Like, we might do 76 and we might do another game.
Okay.
I do want a game. I don't know
Yeah.
if I'm gonna do
So
76.
show up at 6 o'clock Eastern.
5 p.m.
The
Central.
Rooks is gonna game.
We're gonna game.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe 76 Sundays, maybe 76 and something else. I don't know. Like, so
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. So thanks for watching. Thanks,
Mhm.
PepPep, for thanks for
You
that.
did great.
Thanks.
You did great.
I like your new setup, by the way.
Thank you. I like it too. It's very more podcasty.
You need something in your background, though. It's bothering me.
I do.
Like, I'm
Yeah, I
dying.
rotated. Yesterday I rotated my desk, and it's and yeah, I do need something like right here. It's kind of
You
boring.
need background lights. To Amazon!
Yes, Amazon.
And with that, we'll see you guys later.
right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.